Okay, welcome back to the First and Gold podcast, and as you can see by the title, today we're doing another tier list, NFL themed, of course. We got our normal setup here, the S tier, the A tier, the B, C, and F, and as you can see, we got helmets today. We've done uniforms, and we've done logos, but we haven't specifically just focused on the helmets. It's kind of a mixture of both. Go back if you guys want to watch both our uniform and our logo videos. You can click on these links. But today, like I just said, we're specifically going helmets. So let's just jump right into it. If in your uniform video, your favorite team ranked high, and in this video, if they rank low, that just means they have a shitty helmet. And I'm sorry. This is all subjective. I'd love for you guys to comment down below like you guys always do. We love interacting. And I just want to see what your guys' opinions are, especially at the end of this, how much you agree or disagree with me, what your favorite helmet is in the NFL. So let's get into it. Let's start with the Arizona Cardinals. We're off to a negative start here. Sadly going to go F tier for the Cardinals, specifically for the fact, and by the way, before we, get all into this, it's just their regular normal helmet. We're not doing any alternates or even when they change their face mask or throwbacks, any of that. This is their normal helmet that they wear the majority of the time. So, okay. The Cardinals, yep. I would only put them higher if it was their all-white uniforms with the gray face mask. But, it actually does have a gray face mask here. It feels like it's more accentuated when they wear the all-whites. Maybe it's the gray outline, the silver outline. So, yeah, this, I'm sorry, it's probably one of the most boring helmets in the NFL. It's just plain white. The Cardinal logo is very boring. It's very average. So, if I just think of helmets I like in the NFL, the Cardinals are definitely one of the last teams I think of. All right. The Atlanta Falcons. Now, I'm going to put this in B tier. And it would have been higher if they switched to their red helmets with the gold stripe in the outline. They just wore it last week against the Saints. I think they're going to wear it tomorrow on Thursday Night Football against the Bucks. So if that was their normal helmet, it would be so much better. But it just feels average. I do like seeing the black helmet with that logo at home in the stadium. I think it's a nice, sleek, somewhat intimidating look, but I can't put it any higher than B tier. So the Ravens. Ooh, now this one's interesting because the helmet itself isn't spectacular, but I have to say it does mesh perfectly with their uniforms as a whole. When I think of the Ravens helmet, I think of Lamar wearing it. I feel like if you're wearing a Ravens helmet, it would look great with a visor. It goes perfectly in a primetime game. I love the purple logo. I love the Raven on. I love the tints of gold in it. But you're going to see a running theme with just the black and white helmets. I'm not too big on in general. But I think I got to give the Ravens props here for making it mesh so well. So it's definitely about the Falcons. I'll keep it in B tier as well for now. At the end of this, I'm definitely going to maybe swap some things around just so I can see, where everything's at. This isn't their final ranking yet. But for now, put it above the Falcons in B tier. Bills. I'll go C. It's similar to the Cardinals, except I guess I like their logos slightly better. Although I prefer the bill. A lot of people don't like this helmet. I prefer the bill that's just kind of standing there from, what is that, the 1960s? Back all the way, yeah, in those old days. Look, the red helmet was fine. Just once again, you're going to see this a lot of just the plain white helmets I'm not a big fan of. I'll give it the slight edge above the Cardinals just because I like the logo slightly more. The Panthers. I don't mind the Panthers. I'm also going to put that in B tier. Do I put it above or below the Falcons? I'm going to put it... It's a really close one. I'm going to put it slightly below. Although if you go to our logo video, I have their logo rated high. I do like the silver look. I just don't know. Nothing special pops out to me for the Panthers helmet, I can't rate it too high, to be honest. A lot of these first helmets, I promise, there's going to be some high-rated helmets on here, but the ones they're giving us right now, this is in alphabetical order, so far aren't impressing me too much. All right, the Bears. Look, the Bears are super classic, and I'll give them that. But when I think of the Bears, I'm not going right to their helmet. It's more just the classic C logo itself. individually, and their uniforms individually, and their stadium and their history, the helmet does nothing for me. I'm also going to put it in C tier. I'll put it above the Bills just because it has a little more history behind it. Nothing's popping out at me except the next helmet. Finally, we're going to jump not only from B to A, but from B to S tier. This might be the best helmet in the NFL. I think I'm looking around. It probably is. It's the Cincinnati Bengals. Any newcomers, I mentioned this in a lot of previous videos. My dad is a huge Bengals fan. We're sitting in my basement right now. It's basically a Bengals man cave. Speaking of their helmet, I got one right here. I pull this out sometimes just to show you guys. Not only does it mesh perfectly with the jungle theme of their stadium, it meshes perfectly with their uniforms as a whole. It pops out to you immediately when you think of the Bengals. You think of their helmets. Just such a cool design that I would never have thought of, but just works so perfectly with the Bengals. I just feel like it's probably the best helmet in the NFL, and it's going to be hard to beat that with these next teams here. All right. Browns, F tier. I'll put it above the Cardinals just because it has color. I know white's technically a color, but you know what I mean. Like a different type of color that's not just white or black. But a lot of people say it's the worst helmet. It's probably the worst helmet in all of sports, people say. The only other helmets you're going to get are what, hockey and baseball. But I don't know if I actually hate it as much as F tier now that I'm looking at it. Because I'm thinking about when they go with the helmets, the brown shirts, and the orange pants. I think that's a good contrast. I think it pops out more than some of these other teams. You know what? Off the bat, I'm actually going to go a little bit higher. Yes, they have the worst logo in the NFL, which is why a lot of people hate their helmet, because it's just a plain orange helmet. What do I do with the Browns? A lot of people are going to want an F tier. You know what? I'll put it low C tier for now. All right, Cowboys, A tier. Extremely iconic. It's the star in the helmet. People even refer to it when people ask, okay, it's the 21st century. The Cowboys really haven't done anything lately. Unless you're an Eagles, Giants, or Commanders fan. Why do people hate the Cowboys so much? And a lot of people refer back to, well, it's the star in the helmet. And that star on the helmet itself really gives off, many reasons for people to hate them just based on their history, based on their fans, just based on how popular they are. Dak Prescott and every quarterback that comes through over the years on the Cowboys gets a lot of pressure on them because of that star on their helmet. It's just a reference. It's a metaphor, but we're ranking the helmets here. I think absolutely one of the first things you think of when you think of the Cowboys, other than probably one of the best teams in the NFL, one of the most popular teams in the NFL, Jerry Jones, and then the helmet with the star on it. So I'm going to put an S tier because the design itself I don't like as much as a team like the Bengals, but certainly deserves a spot in A tier. Broncos. Oh my gosh. It's not even that I hate this helmet itself. They just got new uniforms this year. I did my uniform tier, my uniform rankings before the new uniforms came out this offseason, and I think I already had that in F. So the fact that I'm also going to put the Broncos pretty low on here. Look, if they should have done the blue helmet with the D on it and the horse coming out, and it would have probably been A tier, honestly. But they reverted back to their same navy blue helmets, their same logo, and then we'll put up a picture. They have this weird double orange arrow thing going on in the back of their helmet that makes no sense. It looks awful. They completely botched the redesign, so with that being said, I think I'm going to have to put the Broncos in F tier. They screwed it up again. They really did. Everything about the Broncos, I'm a Chiefs fan, so I already hate them in general, but everything about the Broncos just is disgusting. It's disgusting. Anyways, okay, the Packers. Ooh. I will go A tier, and it's like basically tied for me against them and the Cowboys. I like the yellow more than I like the silver, but then I like the Cowboys logo more than I like just the G on the helmet. They're both super iconic. I love a good solid color helmet. Like, they're the only team with a yellow helmet in the NFL, and I think it works well. Not a lot of people like the yellow and green combo. I love it, just probably because it's so iconic and classic. But yeah, it's basically Georgia's helmet, but yellow and green, and I love it. I can't really describe it too much other than it just pops when I see it, and it just makes me feel comfortable. I don't know what that means, but you know what I mean? Like, it's just a solid classic helmet. The Colts, C tier. Do I put it above the Bills? Sure. It's a little more classic than the Bills is. I mean, the horseshoe's fine. It's just one of those plain helmets again. It doesn't really help or hurt their uniforms as a whole. It's fine. I'm not going to spend too much time on the Colts, if we're being honest. All right. The Jaguars. Well, if you can see behind me, I have the 2013 to 17 Jaguars helmets, where it had the matte black, half matte black on the front, half gold in the back. And people, I put that up for a reason, because it's probably the most controversial helmet change in NFL history. People rather love it or hate it. I thought it was ugly at the time. When I look back at it, I was like, you know, it'd be kind of funny if they went back to it. But I understand why people don't like it. But now, as we have here on the tier list, they're back to their old school look, just a plain black with their normal logo on it. Now you go back to the logo video. S tier is my favorite logo in the NFL. And that definitely helps this helmet, which is why I'm going to put it bottom of B tier. But once again, like no team has a teal helmet. Why not try something new again? Go to a teal helmet. Because these plain black and plain white helmets are just not doing it for me. I'll give it an upgrade just like I did with the Ravens and the Falcons and the Panthers, because I like their logos a lot more. But yeah, it's once again just not doing anything for me. The Chiefs. Well, this one, you know, obviously this video in general is subjective. I'm going to be super subjective and biased here with the Chiefs helmet. That is pretty much the main reason why I chose the Chiefs when I was like 4 years old. I love the sleek red design. I like their logo. I think it pops perfectly, especially at home in Arrowhead when they're wearing their home uniforms and it's the red helmet. And it just makes you look faster, makes you look more intimidating, makes you look stronger. It's my favorite thing about the Chiefs uniform. But is it S tier? Personally, for me, it's S tier just because that's why I love their uniform so much, and that's what drew me to them. But they're not. I gotta be a little objective here, because I know they're not on the same level as the Bengals. So I'll put it at top of A tier for now. We'll see if any other team earns S tier. But, man, I mean, I love the Chiefs helmet. It's like my favorite thing ever. So the Raiders. Now, this is the only black, white, or silver helmet that's going to make it pretty... Or actually, I guess I have the Cowboys in A tier. I don't know. I just said that. But, yeah, it's going to be an A tier. It's going to be... Oof. Do I put it above the Packers is the question. No, I'm going to make the yellow a little bit higher. But, I mean, another one of those things. It's one of the most classic helmets in the NFL. Great logo. It goes perfectly when they wear their home uniforms. I mean, the black-silver combo is just is great. You know, it has a lot of history and meaning behind it. Like, when you put on that helmet, you're supposed to be tougher, more rugged. So, yeah, it just fits up there with one of those iconic helmets. And as much as I hate the Raiders, I got to put it up there on A tier on the same level as the Chiefs right now. The Chargers, A tier as well. I love the Chargers helmet. I'll put it right behind the Chiefs. Now, I like a lot of the Chargers helmets they've had over the years. They've had their navy blues. They've had their royal blues with the yellow bolts with the navy blue outline. I really like that. But I gotta say, it's probably still their best helmet. The fact that they went back to their classic look from the 60s and maybe a little bit of the 70s. I forget when they switched to the royal blue. But, I mean, the yellow face mask, the powder blue outline, it goes so perfectly with their jerseys. It goes great. It looks great in SoFi. That just the bolt in general makes you seem faster. So, yeah, the Chargers all around have one of the best uniforms in the NFL, and that includes their helmets. So that's why I'm putting them in A tier. The Rams. Ugh. Oh, gosh. Honestly, Todd Gurley era Rams, pre-COVID, when they moved to SoFi and had the IKEA uniforms, S tier helmet. One of my favorite helmets in the NFL. The Bengals-Rams matchup was great. But this specific helmet, though, I know they had this in the Bengals-Rams matchup, but it's a downgrade for sure. I will still put it at the bottom of A. No, I'm going to put it at the top of B for now. A lot of people love this helmet still, but it just looks too futuristic. It doesn't scream Rams to me anymore. It just looks like a weird yellow, blocky circle. Like, I don't know. It just looks weird. I don't like the lighter blue as well. I like when it was a darker blue. I used to love the Rams' old helmets, but this is just, yeah, top of B tier feels right for now. Okay, the Dolphins? Look, uniforms, A tier, easily. Throwback uniforms and helmets, S tier. But this specific helmet, I'm actually going to be honest, isn't awesome. It's middle of the pack for me. I'm actually going to put it like behind the Falcons. As much as I love the Dolphins, they're my second favorite team. I love the teal and orange, or the aqua and orange. I just think their redesign, especially for their helmet, was my least favorite part. They should have kept the Dolphin that was a little more arched, that had the helmet on. And this one's just too futuristic for me. And once again, it's just like a white helmet. It's kind of boring. So, yeah, I'm going to put it in B tier. The Minnesota Vikings. This is a big one. Do I put the Vikings in S tier? Al? I mean,
Yes.
yeah, he says yes immediately.
100%. The most original helmet in the NFL.
So you think the Vikings helmet goes hand in hand with this helmet?
100%.
Okay.
But here's my reason. Every other helmet in the league has the logo on the helmet.
Yeah.
But only the Bengals and the Vikings really innovate their team's idea into the helmet in a different way. So
Interesting. That is an interesting
Yeah,
point.
Bengals and Vikings are the best helmets.
That is actually a good point. I think the only other team that doesn't really have their logo on their helmet is the Rams, which I just put on B tier. I'm trying to look now. That actually, I guess the Eagles technically don't. They have the wings. Okay, that's a great point. You know what? I'll put it behind the Bengals. I still think the Bengals have the best helmet, but sure.
Oh,
Let's do Vikings S tier. Unless it's your hometown and your team's great and there's like a hero player that you root for or whatever. Like, if you just pick a team randomly as a kid, you're probably just going to go to their uniform or their helmet and just be like, oh, that looks cool. I want to root for them. And that's exactly what I did. Al, I'm sure that's what you did. Yeah, he's pointing to himself. That's what he did. My brother did. My dad. So, look, we were drawn to these helmets, and they're the top 3 right now. So, what can I say? Patriots. Ooh, interesting. I'm going to go C tier behind the Bears. Now, if this is Pat Patriot, they're A tier for sure, even though it's a white helmet. I mean, it's fine. I really don't hate the Patriots uniforms that much. I just think they're not that interesting. It's classic, but it's just nothing pops out to me, to be honest. Okay, the Saints. I'm going to put the Saints in A. Very solidly in A. I'm going to put it right between the Cowboys and the Chargers. I think the Saints potentially are a top 5 helmet in the NFL. You know what? I'm actually even going to put it above the Chargers. I think the Saints have a great helmet. The 49ers, I guess, yeah, they're gold, but the Saints have a different type of gold. I like their gold better. It's darker. It goes perfectly in Mercedes-Benz Stadium, or Mercedes-Benz Dome. Sorry, Mercedes-Benz Stadium is technically the Falcons. But their home stadium, when they go the gold helmet, black jerseys, gold pants, that might be one of the best color uniform combinations in sports. Any player looks good in this helmet. Yes, even Derek Carr. Just look at that. Just look at it. It's so clean. It's so perfect for New Orleans too. I don't even know what that really means, but it's just my gut feeling. It just goes so well with that team and that city and that stadium. So definitely a top 5 helmet for me. The New York Giants. I'm actually between B and A here. I love, like, here's the funny thing. I put their uniforms like middle of the pack, and I called them classic, which is true, very classic. I actually prefer the Giants helmet where it's written out in Giants. I know it's probably unpopular. A lot of people actually like the NY. I don't mind the NY, but to have just a solid blue helmet, the only other team that even has a blue helmet right now, or that lighter shade of blue, is the Rams. There's a lot of Navy helmets, but I actually am going to put the Giants up in A tier. I'll put them at the bottom of A tier, but I don't mind their helmet at all. You know, when you go to see the Giants in person, I've been to a lot of Giants games, that helmet just shines, especially if it's sunny out. It just pops. It looks nice. It looks classic. It looks slick. It just reminds me of Eli Manning, like just the old Giants teams. I like it. I like their helmet a lot, actually. And the Jets, too. The Jets are up next. I'm going to put the Jets right above the Giants. I think both New York teams have good, solid helmets in the bottom of A tier. The Jets have massively improved. I don't really like the Jets helmets. You can actually see it here at the bottom. We're not going to rank that one, but huge improvement. Getting rid of the football, adding the little tail on the top of the Jets logo, that was a good move, and then adding the white face mask. Perfect. I love that look. It goes great with their new jerseys, their new uniforms. Just like I said with the Giants, you go to a game, it feels like it's very shiny, it pops out. And I'm not even a big green guy per se, but if there's a helmet that did it well, it's the Jets. You know, their old thing, I might have put their old helmet in C or maybe bottom of B. But yeah, this deserves A tier for sure. So good job for the Jets. Here's the Eagles. I'm gonna put it in the same exact category as the Rams. I like that the wings are coming out. That's super cool, and it's a classic look, and it reminds me of a lot of great players. But I mean, the Kelly Greens. Let's be real. It's the Kelly Greens with the white wing and the silver outline. That's what it should be. That's what everybody's been asking for forever. When they actually wear it, it looks great. And that would almost be S tier, honestly. But this Eagles, I'll put it at the top of B tier. I'll put it right at the top with the Rams and the Ravens. I still think it's a solid helmet, but it could be a lot better. And that's why it always hinders my ranking, because all I'm thinking about in my head is the Kelly Greens. I'm sorry. Steelers, super classic. And I get it. It's cool. They're the only team in the NFL that only has their logo on one side of the helmet, whatever. I'm demoting them for that. I'm sorry. Have the logo on both sides. I don't care if that's your cool little fact for your team, whatever history's behind it. I'm just here to rank the actual aesthetic of the helmet today. So I'm actually demoting you for that. I'm going to put you at the bottom of B tier. The only reason you're in B tier is because you're so iconic. And now people are going to look at me like, well, what about the Cowboys or the Packers or the Raiders? Like, you put them in iconic, but no, I don't care. Aesthetically, for my eyes, when they're on the field, especially wearing their home uniforms, that helmet doesn't do that much for me. I'm sorry. I actually okay, I don't prefer this technically over their helmets here, but I kind of like their yellow helmets. They haven't worn that in forever, but I thought those were kind of cool. So Steelers fans are going to be super pissed at me. I know a bunch of Steelers fans, and yeah. 49ers. A tier. Is it higher than the Jets and Giants is the question. Yes. And I don't know if it is. What do I like about the 49ers more? Do I like the gold helmets? Or do I like the fact that it contrasts well with the red jerseys? That's what I'm battling here in my mind. Like, do I really love the 49ers helmet that much? No, you know what? I don't. I'm going to put it at the bottom of A. But just looking at it side by side with the Jets and Giants, I love that solid blue color, and I like the solid green color a little bit more. Which is also going to make me want to change the Raiders helmet all the way down. And the Cowboys helmet. No, the Cowboys helmet I have to keep, actually. But I'm going to put the 49ers above the Raiders, actually. Yeah. More color wins. I'm sorry. More cool colors win. So, bottom of A for the 49ers. The Seahawks, everybody loved the Seahawks helmet when it first came out. Like, what was it? 11 years, 12 years ago at this point. It's got the neon green little... It's kind of similar to the Broncos helmet, but they actually did it well. It's got the neon green, like, speckles coming out as their stripe on the back. Their logo's cool. I'm not a huge navy blue guy, though, so I'm just looking at the teams in the A tier. It doesn't feel like the Seahawks deserve to be there. I think they're right around, like, the Ravens helmet. I'll put them right above the Ravens because they got a little more color. Bucks, C tier. I'm sorry. I don't actually really like the Bucks. First of all, I don't know what this picture is. Their logo is not usually that big. That is a huge Bucks logo. That looks weird. It makes, like, when Tom Brady went to the Bucks, it just made him look weird, and part of that was the helmet. Like, I don't mind the red jerseys, but the pewter's a strange color to begin with. I don't know why a team thought wearing pewter is a good idea. I never thought that the Bucks helmet really popped out as anything special or good. I'm gonna honestly put that in C. I'm sorry. Another C tier helmet, which is very controversial because a lot of people like this helmet. Another rare thing, kind of like with the Patriots, kind of like with the Bucks, I like their white helmets better. And even though I've been ragging on the white helmets this entire video, I'm kind of contradicting myself, but I'm just getting these gut feelings. This is my subjective opinion. I'm sorry. I'm gonna put the Titans. I'll put it at the top of C tier. I think they're... Or the bottom of B tier. What should I do here? Because that helmet, I will say, looks good in a dome when they're wearing all white. I think that looks solid. But just as a helmet in general, I don't know. I kind of like the white helmet a little bit better, so I'm going to put it at the top C tier. I'm always ragging on the Titans in these videos. I'm sorry, but there's just nothing special. I'm sorry. Go back to the Oilers. Washington Commanders, bottom of C tier. I'm not going to put it in F tier. It's grown on me a little bit because I actually do... I don't mind, now that they're starting to wear their yellow pants, I like the yellow W with the maroon helmet. It's very smooth. Look, it's a color, it's maroon. It's the only maroon helmet in the NFL, which I think is pretty cool. You know what, actually? I might put it above some teams here. So hold on, let me do some maneuvering. I will put it above the Bucks and Colts yeah, I think it's smack dab in the middle of C tier. I actually don't hate the Commander's helmet that much, but it's still just a W at the end of the day. And obviously the Redskins all around uniforms, helmets, everything was better. So sorry. All right. And then finally, the Houston Texans, who did change their uniforms this year. They have some alternate helmets, but their normal helmet pretty much stayed the same. I never really liked it. Their logo's fine. It's a very dark navy, but it's pretty plain. So honestly, I'm going to sadly put it in C tier, and I'm going to put it right above the Colts. And there you go. That's all the teams. Wow, we have a lot of teams smack dab in the middle, and then we only have 2 S tier and 2 F tiers. So I'm going to see if I want to switch around anything. You know, I just feel like it's right at this point to put the Chiefs in S tier. And honestly, I'm also going to put the Saints in S tier. Those are the Mount Rushmore of helmets for me. Bengals, Vikings, Chiefs, Saints, S tier. A tier, we're going to go Chargers, Cowboys, Packers, Jets, Giants, 49ers, Raiders. B tier is Eagles, Rams, Seahawks, Ravens. I'm actually going to put the Seahawks below the Ravens. Falcons, Dolphins, Panthers, Jags, and Steelers. C tier is Titans. I'm actually going to put the Titans up in B tier. I think they deserve a B tier. All right. C tier is Bears, Patriots, Commanders, Bucks, Colts, Bills, and Browns. And then F tier is the Broncos and Cardinals. I'm sorry, Broncos and Cardinals fans. That's what you get on this one. I'm pretty sure I also put your uniforms in F tier. I'm sorry. But there you go. That's our tier list. We're going to keep on doing these tier lists almost every single week. We got a lot lined up in store, some good ideas. So hopefully you guys enjoy these. I love doing these. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Comment down below your favorite helmet. If I got anything completely wrong about your favorite team, you know, whatever it is. We love interacting. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to follow us at First and Gold Pod on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. There you go. See you next video. Goodbye.